We are at the original Jimmy John's in Calhoun Square on Hennepin. I've been called here for a press conference today. Allegedly a Jimmy John's employee. They've been having troubles unionizing. They've been in struggles with management over their worker terms and the way they're treated. There's a press conference being held today because a Jimmy John's employee was asked to serve rotten meat. She reportedly discovered that the cooler was turned off. Meat was rotting. She called to tell her boss about it. The boss ordered that she serve the meat anyway. I'm just going to get some B-roll footage. There's a press conference that should begin.
Hey, you can't do that here.
Can't do that here?
No, I think they're outside.
Okay. There's a press conference. Is there a press conference being held here shortly?
Hey, that's outside for the clip.
All right, we're rolling. This is Jakob Wheeler reporting for The Uptake. I have Davis here, a Jimmy John's employee, who's going to tell us why we're here today with several Solidarity members. Davis, would you mind telling us about the struggle that you guys have been going through with Jimmy John's, and then as well tell me why we're here today with respect to Margaret and the rotten meat?
Sure. So about 3 weeks ago, we went public with our union, and we've been having actions twice a week to put pressure on the owners to sit down and talk with us about the issues that we've raised with them. Our demands include sick days. Right now, we don't have sick days. We can't just call in, and if I have a flu, they want me to go to the doctor, get a doctor's note, or I have to find my own replacement. We get paid minimum wage, which they claim is industry standards, and yet some people have been working here for 4 years and still make minimum wage. There's no scheduled raises. We don't get health benefits. Workers' comp is very rare. They usually force people to sign away their workers' comp. We had a case where a driver was hit by a car on a delivery, and he went home. He told his boss that he was going home and he couldn't come back to work, and the owners made him come back to the shop, take a cab back to the shop, which he had to pay for. He signed away his workers' comp, and then he had to take a cab back home, which he also had to pay for. So these are just issues of it's common sense, it's basic fairness. We feel that we deserve more. The owners of this franchise have made millions of dollars off Jimmy John's, and we deserve a fair share of that. Part of the reason we're here today is because my coworker Margaret Brickely, she is a shift supervisor. She came to work on the 14th of September and noticed that all the meat in the cooler was warm. The cooler was broken the night before, and she refused to sell the meat because it was all spoiled. And the district manager, Jason Efforts, told her that she had to sell it. So she left because she didn't want to be a part of that. Now she's being accused of sabotaging the business, turning off the cooler, which of course is not true. The cooler's old. It's been here for years. We're about to replace it. And, she did the right thing. She's a hero for refusing to sell this meat, which the district manager wanted to sell. So we're here to congratulate her and thank her. We got a card for her. We got her some flowers. And she just got a call from the owners this morning letting her know that her job is not in jeopardy and she won't be fired, which, we tried to let her know her rights. And we also let the owners know what was going on. So if they tried to retaliate against her, it wasn't going to be good news for them. So
Margaret is still employed, and is she working today, right now?
Yeah, she's working today. She's no longer a shift supervisor. She gave up that position and is working in shop and is doing delivery right now today. So,
Davis, what's your status? Are you still employed by Jimmy John's, and at which location?
Yeah, I'm still employed at Jimmy John's. I've been working here for about a year and 4 months at the Uptown store. And I've been delivering. I've been very open about being a union member. I haven't had any problems other than the normal, what we're fighting for, basically. But I haven't experienced any harassment myself or accusations or anything. But yeah, it just goes to show, Margaret, we helped her come out about this and make it a public information that she refused to do this, refused to sell this meat. And we let the owners know that this was public, and so now she's being told that she has job security now. She won't lose her job because this happened. So we feel like this is just a clear example of, we have rights as union members. This is concerted activity, and we're protected by law to do this. And if the owners try and mess with us, it's not going to work.
Davis, who are the owners? And could you name the shift manager again who forced Margaret to serve this meat that was in the broken cooler? And the third part of the question is, could you tell us a little more about your current wages, how much they are, and what you currently, what you currently get as compensation?
So the owners are Mike and Rob Mulligan. It's a father-son ownership. And the district manager who forced Margaret Brickely to serve the meat, his name was Jason Efforts. Right now, it's a funny story. About 2 days after we went public with the union, people got raises who had been asking for them for months and months. I slice meat and cheese here 2 days a week at this location, and I was supposed to get $1 raise for that. And that never happened until, I started slicing about maybe 5 months ago. I didn't get that raise until 2 days after we went public. So they've already started giving us things that, these concessions, basically, to try and dissuade us from forming this union, making it seem like we don't need a union. They'll give us raises, etc. But
you said your salary has been up by $1 to what now?
So when I slice, I make $8.75, but when I drive, I still make $7.25, and there are still drivers here who make $7.25 after 3-4 years. So, yeah. But like I said, right now, 2 days after we went public, I got that raise. It was a clear concession. They're trying to give us things that make it seem like we don't need to do what we're doing, but it's not out of the kindness of their hearts. We know it's because we're forming this union. And, yeah.
What do we know about wages and working conditions for Jimmy John's employees elsewhere, outside of the Twin Cities, nationwide? Are the raises comparable to what we're seeing here, or are they higher?
So we've set up a website, which we've gotten a lot of hits from people all over the U.S., and it's becoming clear that this is an issue all over internationally. And we've had people asking how they can join from Missouri, Atlanta, Chicago, all over. So it's definitely what's happening in Minneapolis right now. People are experiencing this in other states, other cities as well. So
those with whom you're working to organize, are they just Jimmy John's workers at this location in Calhoun Square? Are they Jimmy John's workers throughout Minneapolis, the Twin Cities?
So, wait, I'm sorry, what was, could you repeat that?
Yeah, the group of workers with whom you're working to unionize, is that confined to this location, or is that Jimmy John's locations throughout the Twin Cities? What's the scope?
So, the Mulligans, the owners own 10 stores right now. They just opened up their new store in Stadium Village, and we have organizers. Okay, so there's the Uptown location, which is here on Hennepin in Uptown. There's Franklin Nicollet. There are 3 stores downtown, 2 stores on the U of M campus, and there's 2 stores there's 3 now, or 4 now on the U of M campus, and 2 stores in St. Louis Park. And we have a solid core of about 30-35 active members who have been coming to actions, giving their support, and we have a clear majority of supporters in all the stores from the workers who want to see this go through.
You said that several of you actually received wages or raises or promises of raises once you began threatening to unionize. Does that go for all of you? Did you all receive promises of raises? And the other part of the question is, did any of you experience, threats or intimidation when you began talking about unionizing?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, not all of us got these concessions, these raises, and whatnot. There was a case of a worker working at the Block E store who was a union member, and he was promised a promotion before the union went public. And when we went public with the union, and he was in the open about it, that promotion was given to another worker. So that was clear retaliation on their part. It's kind of store to store right now, but a lot of people who have been organizing have gotten 25, 50-cent raises here and there, but still some of us, a worker at the 9th Street location downtown was actually fired because she called in sick. She had a doctor's note. They told her she couldn't come back in for 72 hours because that's apparently the law, or that's how they work through corporate. And when she got back to work after 72 hours, they told her she was fired, and she was an open union member. So, it's manager to manager in each store, and they don't really know, these people just, I guess, don't have the training on labor law to really know what they're dealing with here.
What's the status then of the efforts for you guys to unionize? What's the status right now? What comes next? And which unions, by the way?
So the Jimmy John's Workers Union is operating under the Industrial Workers of the World, which has been around since 1910, and this is a really big step in labor right now. This would be the first fast food union in the nation. The next steps that we're taking are filing for an election, which is done through the National Labor Relations Board. In order to do this, we need a third of the workers to sign a petition which says they'd be willing to vote. We had a clear majority when we filed. We feel like we're going to win. After that, there's the negotiation period where we ask the owners to negotiate with us around the demands that we have: raises, benefits, sick days, an end to sexual harassment, end to racial discrimination, workers' comp, all these things. So the next step there is just, making sure that they honor these negotiations and actually meet with us and bargain in good faith with us.
You mentioned, including language for or to oppose sexual harassment and racial harassment. Has there been evidence of that? And what any other charges that you want to levy or mention right now on camera against this Jimmy John's location?
So not at this location specifically, but at at one of the locations on the U of M campus, a coworker was actually terminated for confronting her boss on his behavior. He was sexually harassing multiple women that he hired. He'd hire women, make advances on them, and when they wouldn't respond or when they told him off, he would cut their hours or take them off the schedule. She confronted him on it. She got her hours cut. She was taken off the schedule. She was told she could work at a different Jimmy John's, and then termination papers were signed behind her back by the manager. That manager, we had notes for 2 months before he was finally terminated for his behavior, and we had been bringing this up to the owners, the district manager, all these people, and they did nothing about it. It took one day he was at work and he was looking up ads for prostitution on Craigslist, and he called another coworker over to look at the ads with him, and it took that hard evidence on the computer to actually get this guy terminated. But we had been begging to get this guy fired for a long time because it needed to happen.
What was his name, if you're willing to say? And when was he terminated, and after how long of these allegations being brought forward by you guys?
So he was terminated about 2 months after we noticed there was a serious problem. I can't remember his last name. His first name was Mike. He was the general manager there. Yeah, I'm not sure of his last name.
Can I ask your full name, by the way, if you're willing to state it? And then any other comments that you want to tell the uptake right now?
Yeah, my name is Davis Ritzema. Again, member of the IWW and the Jimmy John's Workers Union. RITSEMA. And I guess the only other thing I'd want to say is that this is a really, really important time in labor right now. Industry standards for fast food have stagnated at best to the point where, you know, we have people who work here who are supporting families. They have kids. They have crazy bills. You know, there are a handful of us who are trying to pay off student loans, things like this. And these aren't temporary jobs for a lot of people. For a lot of people, these are jobs that they rely on and they plan on being here for years. And if we can change the way that the industry works, which we feel we can, then this is going to give people just a higher standard of living, and you know, it'll bring more respect to and a better name to the service industry itself.